This is just going to be a super quick video just so I can show an image comparison of what it looks like with the K&F Black Diffusion quarter filter variable ND and without the filter. Currently the image you're looking at the moment has the filter attached, and I originally was just in the market for an ND filter just so I can stick to the 1/50 of a second shutter, so I can stick to within the 180-degree shutter rule. And that's important for me just so I can get that natural motion blur in the video footage. I then started looking at Black Diffusion, and that's just because I thought like the nice halo cinematic glowy effect may be quite nice for the footage. But I don't actually have any set lights, and the only light coming through behind me is the natural sunlight coming through the window just here. I don't always shoot my videos in the daytime, and I live in London, so I don't always get sunlight. So having the Black Diffusion is kind of like a nice to have. But just to illustrate the point further about what the Black Diffusion would look like and how it affects lights, here's a Godox tube light. If I was just to turn this on, you see that nice glowy effect, and it's contrasting against the black of my t-shirt. But if I was just to put it over here against the background, it's not as noticeable, but you can still see it. Now, as before, it was important to me to have the 1/50 of a second shutter, and that's where I'm at the moment. So my exposure settings are f1.8 at 1/50 of a second at ISO 100, and the white balance currently is set at 4800 Kelvin at +1 magenta. Now for the remainder of the video, I'm actually going to take the filter off just so you can see what it would look like without that and how much the filter is actually impacting the natural image quality coming through the lens and the camera. So as you can see, all settings are identical except the filter is now removed. So you can actually see how much light that the ND filter is actually helping reduce and manage and control. I'm now actually going to go to the monitor control app and actually adjust the exposure settings so it's obviously not blowing out like this. So I'm bringing the shutter up to 1/200th of a second, changing the white balance to 5600 Kelvin. So now we brought the exposure down, you can see that the halo effect over my shoulder is now gone. The sunlight beaming off my forearm is no longer diffused, so it's actually looking very harsh. And overall the image just has a lot more sharpness to it, which comes across a little bit more clinical. Just to bring in the tube light back into the play, there is now no glow coming from the sides of it when contrasting against my black t-shirt, and obviously none up here as well. The image is just very sharp, which is not necessarily a bad thing, it's just what's your flavor. Now, as you can see from the image samples on screen at the moment, you can see that the glowing is not coming from the tube light and the lights around me. And because I'm having to ramp up the shutter to compensate for the exposure, I'm actually losing that motion blur and the footage is looking a little bit more choppy without the filter on. So for the past year, I was shooting my videos like this. So I was just sacrificing and dealing with the slightly choppy footage because there wasn't too much motion in my footage anyway. So I'm not necessarily saying there's anything wrong with this image. It's just I did want to kind of like elevate it a little bit more. And I figured that the ND filter and diffusion would actually add to that. It would put back the motion blur and as well give it a bit more of a cinematic aesthetic. But when I put the filter on for the first time after just receiving it, I was actually a little bit disappointed. And that is just because there's a huge color shift. And just to illustrate the point further, I'm now going to put the ND filter back on. And right now it's just really darkened down the image, of course. I'm now going to boost up the exposure. So I've now adjusted the shutter just so I can actually get some more light coming through, as well as allowing for the motion blur. But as you can see, there's a huge color shift with this filter. But with a simple white balance change, adjusted to 4800 Kelvin, it has now corrected the issue. So for the most part, this filter, there's nothing exactly wrong with it. It's just you have to work with it a little bit more. Be aware that it is a color shift. If you are interested in buying this filter, I've got Amazon affiliate links in the description below. And if you do choose to buy one through my Amazon affiliate links, please do leave a comment because I'm new to Amazon affiliate links and it'll be interesting to see if the links actually do work. So if you have placed an order, let me know in the comments. And as I'm sure most of you are aware, the Amazon affiliate links don't affect your final purchase price. It just gives me a little bit of a kickback and commission from the Amazon side. But overall, let me know below if this video has helped you in any way, help you with your purchase decision on the K&F filter. And let me know what you think about the image quality differences.